The Nikon Z8 should destroy the Canon EOS R6 V. It has the pro body, the higher resolution sensor, the flagship engine, and the kind of reputation Canon's new video-first camera should not be able to touch. But that is exactly why this comparison is dangerous. Because the R6 V is not trying to beat the Z8 at everything. It is trying to make creators ask a much scarier question. Why pay more for a pro hybrid when the cheaper Canon might already give you the video camera you actually need? Welcome to Alt Buzz. Subscribe for camera comparisons beyond specs, where Canon and Nikon reveal what truly matters. Let's start with the Nikon Z8. And before anything else, let's give it the respect it has genuinely earned. Look at what Nikon built here, 45.7 megapixels, a professional-grade chassis. Flagship-level hybrid performance pulled straight from the Z9 lineage. This is not just another mirrorless camera sitting on a shelf waiting to be compared. This is Nikon's answer to everything, a single body designed to handle wildlife, commercial work, landscape, events, and cinema-level video production without breaking a sweat. When the Z8 arrived, the message to the market was unmistakable. We built the camera professionals have been waiting for, and for a long time, nobody argued. So when Canon introduced the EOS R6 V, a cheaper, smaller video-leaning body, most people assumed the conversation would be short. A quick 10 minutes confirming what everyone already knew. Nikon wins. Move on. But the market has a funny way of humbling assumptions, and this one was no different. But the Canon EOS R6 V does not care. It never was playing the same game. Canon did not build the R6 V to beat the Z8 on a spec sheet. They built it to make you question whether the Z8 was ever the right camera for you in the first place. And that is a very different kind of dangerous. The kind that quietly shifts markets and leaves professional camera brands looking over their shoulder at something they never fully saw coming. Next up, we have the photography category, and this one is not close. If photography is your primary work, if it is what pays your rent and fills your portfolio, this section ends the debate early. The Nikon Z8 is simply the stronger camera for serious still imaging. 45.7 megapixels is not just a number on a box. It is resolution that gives you room. Room to crop aggressively and still deliver a clean file. Room to print large and keep every detail intact. Room to make a slight framing mistake and fix it in post without losing the shot entirely. And when your client is waiting on delivery, that room is not a luxury, it is your safety net. Picture yourself at a wildlife reserve. One animal, fast movement, no second chance. The Z8's burst capability, its subject tracking, its resolution margin, all of it comes together in a way that delivers not just the shot, but the version of the shot you can actually sell. You come home, open the file, and it is there. The detail, the depth. The professional result that justifies every penny. The Canon R6 V is a capable still shooter, but it was never designed to go toe-to-toe with the Z8 in a pure photography battle, and Canon never claimed otherwise. That honesty is actually what makes this comparison so interesting, because sometimes the most confident thing a camera brand can do is know exactly what their camera is not. Because the moment we move into video, everything shifts completely. Now we have the video. And this is where the Z8 starts feeling something it is not used to feeling. The Z8's video ceiling is serious, 8.3K RAW. Professional-level cinema production power inside a mirrorless body. If you are delivering to broadcasts, shooting for streaming platforms, or working inside a production house that demands the absolute highest quality, the Z8 gives you that ceiling and then some. It is the kind of video muscle that makes a cinematographer nod slowly and say, yes, this will do exactly what I need. But then Canon walked in with something different. 7K open gate recording. Uncropped 4K at 120 frames per second. Active internal cooling built for long sessions. And a vertical reframing system designed genuinely deliberately designed for creators who live on social media, not retrofitted, not an afterthought. Built in from the ground up because Canon looked at the market and understood something many camera brands are still catching up to. Picture a solo YouTuber, one camera, a full shoot day. The R6 V stays cool. It keeps recording, it gives you the horizontal cut for YouTube and the vertical version for your reel from a single take. No second camera, no additional rig, no complicated workaround. Just clean, consistent output from one body that understood the assignment before you even walked out the door. Most reviews get this wrong. They compare specs instead of comparing workflows. And those are two completely different conversations that lead to two completely different cameras in your bag. Everything we have covered so far, the resolution, the frame rates, the cooling, the open gate, almost none of it is the real story. The real battle between these two cameras is not about specs. It never was. It is about something most camera reviews completely ignore. Something that does not show up on a press release and does not trend on photography forums. It is about workflow. And this is where the Z8 starts to feel genuinely uncomfortable. If you are finding this comparison useful, hit subscribe right now. This is exactly the kind of deep dive AltBuzz was built for. And check the membership link below for early access and behind the scenes gear strategy. Now, let's get into the part that actually decides everything. Now, we arrive at the section that changes everything. Modern creators do not live in one format. They shoot horizontal for YouTube. They need vertical for Reels. They go live. They post same day. They work alone. The workflow is the work, and the camera that fits inside that workflow without friction is the one that wins regardless of what any spec sheet says. Because at the end of a long shoot day, nobody is celebrating their sensor resolution. They are celebrating the fact that they got the content out on time. The Nikon Z8 was designed for professionals who also create content. The Canon EOS R6 V was designed for creators who are already living inside content production full-time. That distinction sounds subtle. It is not subtle at all. A travel filmmaker runs a YouTube channel and posts daily reels working solo across multiple countries. He shoots with the Z8 for a month. Stunning image quality. Breathtaking stills, but he needs a separate setup for verticals. He is managing heat on long outdoor shoots and his editing pipeline is longer than his schedule allows. He switches to the R6 V, smaller, cooler, vertical built-in. His output doubles, not because the R6 V is a better camera in a technical sense, but because it fits the life he is actually living. The Z8 is a better camera. But better does not always mean smarter. And for a certain kind of creator, the R6 V wins in the ways that actually matter. And those are the only ways that count when you are building something real. Now we talk about money, and this is where it gets genuinely controversial. The Nikon Z8 gives you more camera. That is not debatable. More megapixels, higher resolution ceiling, more professional photography credibility, more of almost everything you can measure. But the Canon EOS R6 V asks a question that is much harder to answer: how much of that extra camera will you actually use? Because paying for capability you never touch is not an investment, it is just expensive storage. For professional photographers, the Z8 justifies its price completely. For hybrid shooters who need stills to pay the bills, Nikon wins without hesitation. But for solo video creators, YouTubers, social-first filmmakers, and streaming-focused creators, the R6 V is not a compromise. It is not the camera you buy when you cannot afford the Z8. It is the camera you choose deliberately, eyes open, because you understand your own workflow better than any spec sheet ever could. Both cameras are linked in the description with Amazon buying links, worth checking the current pricing before you decide. And finally, we get into the territory where the comment section is going to get loud. For most people watching this, the real question is not R6 V versus Z8. It is whether you are already too deep into Canon RF or Nikon Z to even consider switching. Lenses are not just accessories. They are investments, muscle memory, and years of trust built one shoot at a time. Canon RF glass is expensive, premium, and beautiful, but expensive. Nikon Z glass is expanding fast, with growing third-party support that is making the ecosystem more accessible than it was even 2 years ago. Neither system is wrong, they're just different bets on different futures, and only you know which future you are actually building toward. There is also color science, autofocus behavior, the way a camera feels in your hand after 6 months until it stops feeling like equipment and starts feeling like instinct. Switching systems is not just financial, it is psychological. And here's the thing, Canon is not trying to steal committed Z8 users away from Nikon. They are playing a longer game entirely. They are building a camera for the next generation of creators who have not committed to a system yet. For that audience, the R6 V is an incredibly compelling first answer. The Nikon Z8 is the better professional hybrid camera. Stronger for serious photography, more complete as an all-round body. Built for the shooter who needs one camera to handle almost everything at the highest level. If stills are your livelihood, Nikon wins. No hesitation. But the Canon EOS R6 V is the more disruptive camera, and disruption has a way of making history regardless of who had the better spec sheet. It does not beat the Z8 by being more powerful. It challenges the Z8 by being more focused, more affordable, and more honest about who it was actually built for. And the most powerful thing it does is not the 7K open gate, or the internal cooling, or the vertical reframing. It is the question it plants quietly in your mind: did I ever actually need a Z8 in the first place? That question is the weapon, quiet, uncomfortable, and completely legitimate. If this video helped you think more clearly about your next camera decision, subscribe to Alt Buzz. We go beyond the specs every single time. Both cameras are in the description with Amazon buying links. Support the channel while you shop at zero extra cost. Join the membership for early access and deep dive strategy. Core member at $5, elite partner at $10, link is below. And if this comparison gave you something real, Super Thanks is open from $2 to $100. Everyone genuinely helps us keep making these. 2 cameras, 2 philosophies, 1 question without a simple answer. The best camera was never just the most powerful one. It was always the one that understood where you were going before you knew the route yourself. Choose wisely, shoot honestly, and keep creating something worth watching. See you in the next one.